From Storm Tracker 6, this is Forecast First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
We have seen a lot of sunshine and some very nice temperatures across mid-Michigan today. Satellite and radar shows still mostly sunny conditions across our area. Notice that we do have a little bit of cloud cover developing to our northwest. That's slowly going to be moving in as we go throughout the overnight hours tonight. We're at 83 degrees here in Lansing, 85, so still really impressive over in the city of Mason. 82, your current temperature over in Hillsdale. We'll cool things down right back into the low 60s overnight tonight. These cooler temperatures will continue even as we move into the upcoming weekend, as the chance for rain also makes a return. 6 News at 5:30 starts right now.
WLNS is here for you, celebrating 75 years of bringing you the news with 6 News at 5:30.
Right now at 5:30, immigration protests have come to Detroit. We'll take you there for a rally. Plus, a guilty verdict in one of the charges against Harvey Weinstein, but not in another. And GM makes a big announcement about spending big money in Michigan. Those stories and a lot more, and all in the first 6 minutes. Thank you for joining us. I'm Siobhan Klepfer. Let's start that clock. Tonight, the protests against the Trump administration's actions against immigrants are spreading. And today, one was held in downtown Detroit. They were held at the McNamara Federal Courthouse to protest ICE agents detaining at least 5 people. Government officials say those people were attending immigration hearings.
Oftentimes, these are folks without any criminal records whatsoever, and they place you in expedited removal, which allows them to waive much of your due process rights. And these folks, as soon as they were placed in that status, as soon as they walked out of the courtroom, they were put in cuffs and taken into detention by immigration enforcement. So we're out here demonstrating in solidarity with them and to protest the fascist actions of the Trump administration.
Protesters initially gathered to rally against the deportation of a Detroit high school senior who was set to graduate when he was detained on the way to a field trip. They say they also stand in solidarity with Los Angeles. And young immigrants were a focus of a news conference held by Democratic lawmakers in Washington, D.C. today. Led by Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois, the group talked about the need to protect the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA program. And some of those kids spoke as well, like Aiden, a college student who was brought to America when he was a toddler.
I have always felt an American in every way but on paper. The U.S. has quite literally all I know. If I were to get deported, I would immediately struggle to survive.
The 13th anniversary of DACA is on Sunday. Back here in Michigan, a Kent County judge sentenced the second of 2 brothers who robbed a bank in December in the small town of Sand Lake. Christopher Moore will serve 3 years of probation, and he was credited for the 163 days already spent in jail. 2 weeks ago, a judge sentenced his younger brother, Nicholas Moore, to 3 years on probation and 100 days on a work crew. They admitted to robbing the bank, which they said should be, quote, small town easy. They got away with $335 before police arrested them the same day. The police in the Detroit suburb of Inkster say they might have found the man they're looking for in connection with the 2023 homicide case. Police in Fort Myers, Florida are working to get DNA samples from a man who is thought to have lived with the 34-year-old victim, a man who was found dead in his garage last October. Inkster police say if there's a match, they'll begin the extradition process. In New York today, a jury convicted former movie mogul Harvey Weinstein on one of the top charges in his sex crimes retrial, acquitted him on another, and tonight jurors are still debating and deliberating on a third charge. The jury found Weinstein guilty of a sex assault that happened in 2006, but not of one said to have happened that same year. The third charge is a rape case from 2013. Weinstein's lawyers unsuccessfully asked for a mistrial after the jury foreperson reported that there had been hostility between jurors. A bison gored a man after he got too close to the animal in Wyoming. The National Park Service says it happened on Tuesday to a 30-year-old from New Jersey. He was treated for minor injuries, but officials say he's the second person gored by a bison this season. Park regulations require visitors to keep at least 25 yards away from bison and other large animals. We'll take a look at this. This is video from last night's candlelight vigil in Austria. Thousands turned out for the victims of a mass school shooting. 10 people were killed, 12 others injured Tuesday at a high school. The 21-year-old shooter, a former student, then killed himself. Officials say this was the deadliest attack in the country since World War II. In Argentina, the country's Supreme Court upheld the 6-year prison sentence for former President Cristina Fernández de Kirchner. The ruling on Tuesday also bars her from running in this fall's Buenos Aires legislative elections, just days after she launched her campaign. She was convicted in a corruption case 3 years ago, and more trials are expected. A new report says human-caused climate change had a key role in the record-breaking heat wave in Iceland and Greenland in May. The World Weather Attribution Report says temperatures rose more than 18 degrees Fahrenheit above average in parts of Iceland, and the Greenland ice sheet melted many times faster than normal. One researcher says without human-caused climate change, this would be basically impossible. Back here in Michigan, General Motors has announced a $4 billion investment over the next 2 years in 3 manufacturing plants, including one in Lake Orion. In a statement, company officials say the Orion assembly plant will begin production of gas-powered full-size SUVs and light-duty pickup trucks in 2027. In 2023, the company delayed electric pickup truck production at the facility, citing slow demand for EVs in the United States. Staying with business news, Disney and Universal are the first 2 big entertainment companies to sue over generative artificial intelligence. In a lawsuit filed today, the Hollywood giants accused Midjourney of pirating their works to generate and distribute copies of their characters, like Darth Vader or the Minions. Midjourney has not responded to requests for comment, but in the past, its CEO has said the AI service was more like a search engine. And closing the book on our first 6 minutes of news, items from the private collection of famed children's author Maurice Sendak, who died in 2012, are now up for auction. And they include a first edition copy of Where the Wild Things Are and much of his personal artwork. As of this broadcast, there are less than 18 hours left in the auction, which is being held by Christie's. And drum roll, please, for the current bid for that book, $4,000, Kendall. Now, I got to ask Kendall, because I've asked you things in the past where I'm like, of course she's seen it. Of course she's read that. Where the Wild Things Are. Kendall, you have read it as a child. Go.
I loved the book. I loved the movie. I loved everything about it.
Beautiful.
This movie was on repeat in our house for at least 2 months because of how much my sister loved it.
I actually forgot that there was a movie.
Yes.
And I have not seen it, but I have read the book.
No, you got to see the movie. It's amazing.
Yeah. Amazing was the weather today, Kendall.
Oh my goodness, it was gorgeous seeing all of the sunshine.
Yeah.
Temperatures felt amazing. Hopefully you enjoyed that sunshine. We have a little bit more cloud cover and some rain on the way starting tomorrow, Siobhan.